Hello, everyone. My name is Thavian, and today we'll be talking about the Holographic Universe, also known as the Holographic Principal, which is related to the hologram or holography, something normally talked about in science or quantum physics, quantum mechanics, or string theory. At least once in everybody's life, we will wonder and ask the simple yet profound question, what is the fundamental nature of reality? This can be considered like a philosophical question, or a scientific question, or a spiritual question. Is reality entirely physical? What is reality made of? Understanding the structure of real reality leads to answers of profound questions, such as, what is consciousness? What is spirituality? Are we living in the Matrix? A true understanding of these questions begins with identifying the basic reality structures within which we reside and how we exist in relation to these structures. Also, if one is to become fluent in the spiritual science of healing and spiritual awakening or spiritual ascension in general, it is necessary to become familiar with the primary structures of energy within which all existence takes place. So today, we will expose the hidden and mysterious source out of which our human existence emerges. That's deep. What is most important, about this metaphysics of the holographic universe of the Matrix, is that it gives us opportunity to begin to understand the reality of what we're made of. Most of us have some idea, we have a physical body, obviously. We have a mental body of some sort, and a mind has awareness of having a physical body. And most of us, at least, hope that we have a spiritual body, whatever that may be, because that is our connection to something larger than here. Not everybody realizes that the body just is a very small part of the anatomy of the human being. It is only a very tiny part of the anatomy of matter. We have our bodies in this world that appears to be, a three-dimensional solid reality field. It appears to be made of particles, and our scientists, in quantum mechanics, they tell us about quarks and all sorts of, little particles, subatomic particles, atoms, protons, electrons, all those things. So there is obviously a thing called matter that's here. But behind that, behind this thing called matter, both the matter that our bodies are made of and the matter that the planet, is made of, well, there is much more to the physical anatomy, which, is really a giant complex energy structure. And according to the innerchristos and law of one, which we talk about here at Christos Avatar, our reality is actually a hologram of matter, sort of like, The Matrix, the movie with Keanu Reeves, which, means our reality is not solid matter, not physical to the sense of what we normally think. We exist to what's called, it's the metaphysics of the holographic universe. This means essentially everything you see and experience in your world is an illusion, the make-believe. Even some quantum physicists believe we're living in a great hologram reality. And it's not, even that far-fetched nowadays in the age of string theory. Even in Hinduism, our reality is described in the ancient Sanskrit as being Maya, which means illusion or unreality. So the externalization of life, the manifestation of matter, and the, individuation of identity are holographic projections of consciousness in the Matrix. Think about it. Consciousness is not physical. Your mind, what's in there, your thoughts, your spirit. Well, you can't see these things. You can't touch consciousness. That's because consciousness is energy, and energy is conscious. Wow. But, both our human consciousness and physical form are vibrations of frequency. It is this conscious energy that governs the manifestation of your entire universal system. So, reality is thought construction. Thought is an attribute of consciousness, and nothing is, truly solid, in this cosmic unified field hologram, which the Guardians call the Matrix or time matrix. And there's many of those. All things in this giant time matrix hologram reality field are composed of consciousness, and the only reason why there seems to be some form of solidity is because there is a difference in frequency between the consciousness that is observing a form and the consciousness of which that form is made. There are different levels of reality in this hologram called dimensions. And each dimensional level in the matrix is oscillating at a different frequency rate. This is why we can't observe the next dimension above us, because it is oscillating at a faster frequency beyond our current conscious perceptions. The higher dimensions and the beings that live there, they didn't vanish. They exist. They're still there. We are just, not tuned into those higher dimensions of frequency yet. But we can always observe the dimension that is one level lower than our consciousness. For example, our individual and collective consciousness, the soul, the spirit, is stationed in the fourth dimension of the hologram. But, each one of us is observing and perceiving the lower third dimension frequency and its forms, which are more, dense than our fourth dimensional consciousness. So everything in the third dimension seems solid to us from our fourth dimensional point of view. However, once we get through spiritual ascension to the fifth dimension, then everything in the fourth dimension will appear solid to us. Human consciousness, emerges through this this hierarchy of dimensionalization. There is actually 15 dimensions in this time matrix. The time matrix, which, creates 15 different reality frameworks within which is, all living consciousness can take place, including you. All of this might sound absurd to some of you, but this holographic principle structure is understood and explained with what's called the personal holographic template. It's your personal blueprint that creates your body form, yes, that projects you into the universal hologram. And everything in the matrix hologram has its own, personal holographic template, which is also called a manifestation template, because it is the source of your manifestation experience here. And there are many parts and layers within your manifestation template, which will explain, it will be like how spirit that is not manifest becomes manifest as a human being, in the matrix hologram. So your personal holographic template is a dimensionalized blueprint of light and sound. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are multidimensional consciousness that has a hologram anatomy made up of many different levels of anatomy that go way beyond what we see in the three-dimensional form. And it is our personal holographic template that literally directs what our physical bodies will do. It directs our birth process, our aging process, our growth process. It directs whether we will, be healthy or sick. So it's pretty important. If we don't understand our holographic nature and anatomy that exists behind the matter, we are going to be at the mercy of that matter. And we are, we have been. For example, if our body gets old, we will not know what to do to change that, to stop it, or to fix it. If your body gets sick, we are going to try to fix it from the outside in. But if there's something wrong in your holographic template, beloved ones, beneath the matter, we are not going to, be able to create a permanent fix of healing with our current methods that we're using, right? Conventional medicine in our modern age is only addressing the symptoms of sickness and disease, not the causal element within all manifestation. Okay, one of the greatest secrets to healing is discovering that it is our personal holographic template that is the causal element behind, our sickness and disease. Accessing our own personal holographic template takes us into the levels of holistic healing that are identified in things like well, Chinese acupuncture, which deal with meridian lines in the body, or with Reiki systems of healing, which deal with the subtle energy bodies and chakras and using symbol codes to work with them. Geomancy, they call it. You need all of those levels of your subtle body anatomy, right? But it is your holographic template that is the, like, under, well, you could say, beneath the matter. It's the underlying core structure that gives what your chakras are going to do, what your meridian lines are going to do. It's what your matter particles are going to do. What's fascinating about discovering and learning, well, about this matrix and your holographic anatomy, is that we've been going through thousands of years thinking that we only had, like, well, one hand, let's say one hand and one leg, and we've been, trying to get along with that one hand and one leg, realizing that was another whole half of your body that if we, learned how to use it, we would be able to walk and function much better. It is actually primal life force energy, they call it, current that projects from the highest levels of the universal, galactic, and planetary templates, which projects down through your personal body holographic template. It's a system, and which manifests that what we call your physical form. But they not only manifest the physical form, spirit consciousness as well, the consciousness that makes you aware of, well, who you are today, that helps you to remember what you were yesterday, who you were as a child, the part of you that allows you to visualize who you would like to become or where you might like to go in the future. This is part of you. You call consciousness is your spirit. It's right here with you. It's not separate from you, holy ones. The divine holographic template that your body matter like manifests from, it's also the same template that your consciousness manifests into dimensionality through. Okay, it's what got you into your body in the matrix hologram. So it's like there are holographic template problems within the human body, which right now there are on a global scale, and they have like been for 25,000 years. And when there are problems in the template, there will not only be problems with the matter form, there will be problems with the consciousness as it tries to get into that matter form. When the spirit interfaces the baby fetus, when you are about to begin reincarnation, right now, the way things work in our system is that when we are in like spirit form, before we enter the process called fetal integration, we have spirit consciousness coming into a body vehicle to have incarnation here. We have a problem with the body pattern here because of the we call holographic template distortions. And it comes in, into the body and intertwines itself within the DNA template, your DNA template, with the gene code. The DNA template literally, as soon as you go in there, it shuts off about 90% of your consciousness. The part that's left here, that 10% that is left here, well, it grows. This is what becomes a person. You remember yourself as a baby being, okay? It becomes a person that you grow to be here. But there's rest of you of who you are, who you were before you came in which, who is still, you're still that. But you don't remember. It's because you can't bring in the memory of yourself as a spirit directly because the body serves as a light switch, which is turning most of that current off, most of that current of your consciousness, which is, like being streamed in, projected in, now the current of your consciousness, if you had it fully embodied at 100%, like in the movie Lucy, as the human being with the holographic template, you would have like a maximum of 12 dimensions of consciousness, and just seeing a 3-dimensional reality field, but you would be able to access and move your consciousness and your body through 15 dimensions of matter in the matrix, which means matter density levels. So which You know, I talk about here on Christos Avatar, you know, very detailed. I keep showing you these giant diagrams. Have you seen them yet? Check it out. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do with your holographic template to quickly like expand your spiritual awakening. That's what we're trying to do, right? Your spiritual ascension. Okay, now this main goal is to like repair your holographic template because it is currently distorted, mutated. Remember, because of this distortions, we are only operating at 10%. So we were, you know, once upon a time, a species that was immortal. Yes, when we still had our original divine holographic template, and not the crippled version, okay, that we have now. Our bodies before, in our ancient past, did not die. Death is not a natural condition, holy ones, you know, of the human body form. But however, you know, we've been dying for a very long time on this planet. There's a reason why we've been dying on this planet, and that reason is a genetic mutation in your holographic template that we've been talking about. Now, it is a genetic mutation that has been rendered on the deep, like, core template level of the subtle bodies, the holographic template. And because of that, you know, literally the way our, like, chromosome structures, you know, evolve, and the way our gene code and the biochemicals evolve, well, it's not what it was intended to be. It is not functioning, you know, at its original divine holographic blueprint. So we find ourselves like trapped as consciousness in a mortal body form, you know, that's very, very like short lifespans. I mean, how long do you think you're going to live? They progressively deteriorate right before our eyes. You know, by the time we hit 35 years old, we start to feel it. We start to feel what it's called, you know, the death hormone. It starts to kick in. And it starts to like make you tired. Where 10 years ago in our 20s, you know, the same things didn't make us tired. So, but the body literally starts to kill itself. You know, it poisons itself like with chemical toxins. Science here calls this normal. They call it the aging process. You know, they tell us we're supposed to accept the facts of death and birth and pain and paying taxes. Well, they're the only things that are really certain in our existence. Science accepts death as what it is supposed to be like for a human form. Thanks. Because the science here is based on a very small amount of partial knowledge, because the ancient knowledge was highly advanced. Yes, your past was more advanced, and so it, you know, has become hidden from, you know, the races on the planet now. It's been hidden in order to make you easy to control, in order to keep you from remembering the rest of ourselves, of why we were here in the Matrix. Why are you here? This video is part one of a series of videos in a playlist called Master Templar Ascension Teachings. Now, when we got far, we will get a little bit farther into this information. We will get into the reasons. Okay, who did this? Who done it, and why? And why have we been, as a race, suffering for 25,000 years? Why, if we are immortal, why the heck have we been dying all these years? Why didn't we remember who we are? You know, that somebody special, right? If we are something different than what we perceive as animals, and we actually have this huge amount of consciousness called spirit, it has the answers to everything. It is directly connected to God. Why don't we know this? Why does this seem like something we wish for? Hope is there, but have no evidence to really support. You know, there are reasons why these things took place, and the reasons are huge. I thank you for watching this video, you know, about the holographic universe. And if you like what you have learned today in this video, please like and subscribe, holy ones. And you'll definitely want to like click on the video that comes up on the screen here, because in that video we're going to be talking about how you can like use your personal hologram you know, this template and thought and visualization to literally create scalar waves to change, you know, make changes in your DNA. And this is ascension. We need to change our DNA, and you know this, you can change your reality, which is, you know, light and color. We're using sound tones, symbols, which is basically law of attraction. and how to manifest, manifestation, but on a whole nother level. See you guys on the next video in this series. Namaste. I love you, holy ones. Chiwa. Got you one.